At 8, Correctional Services and Justice Minister Michael Masutha is still with us to discuss the story behind the denial of medical parole for Clive Derby-Lewis, but also the conditions around the release of former Flak Plus Commander Eugene De Kock. Minister, once again, thanks for joining me.
Good evening. It's a pleasure.
Now, you've said that the release of Eugene De Kock is in the interest of nation building and reconciliation. Can you elaborate on this?
Well, you'll recall that Mr. Eugene De Kock was considered favorably by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's Amnesty Committee in regard to a number of offences that he committed during apartheid, save for the murders that he is currently serving a life term for. Now, if you take that context into consideration, had it not been for this specific crimes additional to the many others that for which he received amnesty, he wouldn't even be in our correctional facilities as we speak. So in a sense, his release completes a part, if you like, of that chapter that started with the TRC process. And the TRC process was really about reconciliation and letting bygones be bygones, if you like. And I think it is in that context that one also sees this case as fitting in with that kind of perspective.
Now, this whole issue with Clive Derby-Lewis has raised a lot of questions about people who've been released on medical parole before. Let's use Shabir Sheikh and the late Jackie Silibi as examples. Take us through the differences there.
Well, let me first indicate that the matter of Mr. Jackie Silibi or Shabir Sheikh were never before me. So I'm not privy to the contents of their applications and how they were dealt with. So I do not wish to speculate as to how the process was followed, leading to the decisions that were taken relating to their release. You, as an executing authority, work with what is before you without reference to any other matter that may have been decided before you. Where it matters is ensuring that you are consistent, that the system is consistent by making sure that each time you have to consider a matter, you apply the same criteria as stipulated in the law, unless the law, of course, changes, which presents a different picture. So the criteria used to determine whether a person qualifies or not have been predetermined in law. And all you do is to look at the facts as articulated in the reports vis-a-vis the prescripts in the law, and you simply apply the law to the facts and you arrive at a decision.
Now, the reality is there's still such raw emotion over individuals who are involved in apartheid-related crime. And when I say raw emotion, I'm basing it on everything that we've been seeing on social media, etc. Now, do you think the nation is ready for such, looking at Eugene De Kock being granted parole?
I think we've come a long way, thanks to the late Tata Madiba, who set the foundation for reconciliation and nation building and social cohesion. We just have to continue to build on where he has left. However, I think the reality is, for as long as the inequalities that were in large measure foundationed by a protracted era of deprivation and apartheid and the effects thereof, which continue to bedevil all efforts to achieve reversal thereof, will continue to influence people's attitudes on the one hand in relation to the majority of the people, and on the other there would be those who benefited under apartheid who feel that they benefited legitimately, that they owe nobody anything, and that they have no reason to be remorseful about apartheid and what it did to the majority. And for as long as people adopt such attitudes, we will take a lot longer to achieve full social and political reconciliation in this country.
Now, speaking of social and political reconciliation, but also social cohesion, Eugene De Kock is going to be released soon, and I know that details of his release will remain confidential. But how is he going to cope in society? I mean, can you imagine with things like social media, if someone bumps into him at Checkers, for example, they will be tweeting, just bumped into him. Do you think he's going to be able to come back and live a normal life, if that's even possible? Based on what people know of him, and also based on, you know, yesterday and today, throughout social media, people are posting videos of, you know, things he used to say, things he used to do, and he is that same person. Obviously, maybe his mindset has changed, but how is he gonna live amongst people today, 2015, South Africa today?
I cannot speculate on the living conditions or circumstances that he will find himself in following his release. All I can say, we have honored his request that the exact date of his release, where he goes after his release, and all other circumstances of his living conditions whilst on parole should not be made public, and with, in terms of the law, he is entitled to make such a request, and we've decided we will honor such a request. So I cannot speculate.
I think it's going to be difficult. But
yes.
Just finally, Minister, Afrikaner lobby group AfriForum says keeping Derby-Lewis in prison is a human rights violation and that it's an embarrassment for the country. As a department, you know, what's your take on that statement?
Look, we have free speech in this country, and people are entitled to express their own opinion, and I respect their views. They're entitled to their views, and I live the different views that people have about this decision to freely express themselves, whichever way.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. It's been quite an informative interview.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity, and thanks to the viewers at home.
That was our studio guest, Correctional Services and Justice Minister Michael Masutha, talking to us about Clive Derby-Lewis being denied parole and the release of former Flak Plus Commander Eugene De Kock.